Well, first up on the bulletin, some big breaking news which is coming in. There's high voltage drama happening at Jantar, Mantar even as we speak. CJP claims that Dipke has been detained by the police there. That's the big breaking news that we are getting for you. Well, let me go across to Priyank, who's joining us with all the details. Priyank, what are you picking up? Has Dipke, the founder of CJP, really been detained, or because we don't know where the facts are, what the fiction is? So tell us what's happening on the ground. Where is Dipke?
It's difficult to figure from the delivery side also because the crowd has covered the particular area of Raisina Road, then Jantar Road, and approximately more than 50,000 students have been there on the street. You can see the chanting and hear the chanting which is coming out in the background, where all these supporters have been there. But since the internet has been cut off in this particular area where it is very difficult for anyone to communicate, the message is circulating very slowly. Dipke was there. Dipke has reached here. Okay. So the input which you're getting, Meghna, that Dipke has reached to this location near the media center. To be very precise, it is on the Raisina Road where the Abhijit Dipke has managed to come here. He was sitting on the protest, and what we are getting to know from our sources right now, but while we are talking, I just got to confirm that Abhijit Dipke has reached Raisina Road.
So that's big. You are saying Dipke is currently at Raisina Road. What's happening there? We know that the protesters were trying to storm the parliament. Raisina Road is a very long road, and right at the end of it, that is where parliament starts. You must explain the geography and also the optics and the politics behind it, Priyank.
The moment you enter this high security zone here in the national capital, there are multiple roads which move towards the parliament. One is Choka Road, Akbar Road, Raisina Road, and obviously the Kartavya Path, which earlier used to be called Rajpath. Now, the fact of the matter is that on the other side, on the northern side of the Kartavya Path, is an area which has been the target of all these protesters, where Jantar Mantar is also situated maybe 500 meters away from this location, which is the Indian Youth Congress office or the media center or Lee Maiden Hotel, if anyone could have seen. This is a stretch of the road which connects the roundabout where the parliament actually starts. What we are getting to know that Abhijit Dipke, who had been there at Jantar Mantar after the multiple round of TSL which has been logged by the Delhi police side as well as from the RAF side, Dipke has moved towards Raisina Road, and we are yet to see that whether Dipke will be coming forward for the march or not. While talking about the attempt to move towards the parliament, it is very difficult because now the cops have started using vehicles, which they have used in the last 2 hours. They have also been using these tear shells to disperse the crowd. And these are not skilled protesters, I would say, Meghna, because we have been observing multiple protests in the previous years also. There have been few London elements who have been there.
Well, sorry to interrupt you, Priyank. Stay with us. I believe we have a live report coming in from Raisina Hills. Let's listen it.
वो ये है कि लोगों से बातचीत किया जाए। पुलिस की कोशिश यही है कि यहाँ पे बातचीत किया जाए और बातचीत करके जो समस्या है उसका समाधान निकाला जाए। लेकिन इस वक्त देखिए, आपको जो ह्यूमन चेन है वो यहाँ पर बना के रखा गया है, और ह्यूमन चेन बना के जो है यहाँ पे तमाम प्रोटेस्टर्स आपको नजर आएंगे। आप लोग ह्यूमन चेन बना के अब क्या रोक रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं बताइए?
हम रोक इसलिए रहे हैं कि पुलिस का तो यही है कि पुलिस को प्रवोक करना चाहती है कि लोग भड़के आगे आए,
और हम एक साथ हैं, हम एक साथ हैं, और ये किसी रेपिस्ट को बचाने के लिए नहीं है, ये अपने हक के लिए, ये बच्चों की मौत के लिए, जिससे सरकार को फर्क नहीं पड़ता, ये उसके लिए, और ये बनेगा।
सरकार अब कह रही है कि बातचीत करेंगे, तो क्या बातचीत
कब बोला
बातचीत से कुछ नहीं हो रहा।
देखिए यहाँ पे
Well, let me go across to Shivam. Shivam, it appears that there is quite a lot which is happening right now. Tell us what's happening on the ground. Dipke, I believe, has reached there. Then there seems to be a dramatic face-off which is continuing. What's happening?
Exactly. So currently you are seeing here the protesters are chanting the national slogan. What they are saying is they are standing together for the unity of the country, and they are seeking accountability. We have seen earlier multiple rounds of tear shell being protesters while they were trying to march towards the Sansad Bhavan. And currently also you will see, if I would admit our zoom in, there is still a deliberation, consultation going on between the security personnel as well as the protesters here. The protesters are determined that they will go to the Sansad Bhavan and they will ask those questions that they want to ask. They will seek accountability from those who are in power, who sit in the power corridors and are responsible for the future of the young generation. You will see people also climbing on trucks. The intensity of the slogans here is electrifying. We've been here since morning. Again, the intensity won't tell you that there have been more than 6 tear gas being lobbed on all of them. There was a time when they were having a difficulty in even speaking. Forget about, even in breathing. So that was the issue here that came in. But still you are seeing now national flag being waved off here. The police personnel, again, there are certain police personnel still trying to, almost disperse the crowd here, trying to make the crowd, come to this particular place. Because again, what they are basically saying is that, again, DNS section 163 is imposed. They're not allowed to protest here. On the other hand, the protesters are saying that it is their fundamental right to raise their voice. But the baton charges, the tear shell have again worsened the situation here, because now there is a serious confrontation that takes place earlier, and now also we are seeing people standing here, people chanting slogans, people being together, standing for the university.
Right. Well, here on Times Now, we'd appeal to everyone to ensure that peace and calm is restored. It's okay to protest. We want the protests. And everyone who's involved in it, that it should be carried out in a democratic manner as per the constitution, and peace, safety, security should not be compromised. Well, this is the appeal coming in from Times Now. Well, our reporters are there getting us minute-by-minute updates. They are telling us that, of course, earlier in the day, we had also seen barricades being breached, police action and massive showdown which happened on the streets of Delhi. Well, there was high drama, chaotic scenes which kept unfolding, especially at Jantar Mantar. What you can see on your screens, we are summarizing for you how the dramatic visuals have been coming in all through the day today. Massive showdown has happened between protesters and the Delhi police, and there have been clashes. Unfortunately, there are injuries on the Delhi police side also, which are now coming in the reports of. In fact, the Cockroach Janata Party had called for this march, the Sansad Chalo march, which unfortunately seems to have taken a bit of a violent turn. There are hundreds of CJP supporters. There are some saying as many as 10,000 of them at one time had congregated, and they were trying to storm the parliament, march towards the parliament. However, they were stopped at Raisina Road, where they are right now. Abhijit Dipke, as per the CJP, has been detained. Of course, there's a lot of sloganeering which is happening even as we speak, demanding action against the NEET paper leak. And these are some of the protest demands which are coming in. The visuals you see on your screens will show you how they had managed to bring down the initial police barricades. However, even as we speak, the protesters have been contained in the area before they reach the parliament. This is the Raisina Road. At the end of this road is where the parliament begins. But before that, they have been blocked and the barricades have been put up. Watch this ground report coming in.
This is Parliament Street Police Station and roads leading towards Parliament. As you can see, the protesters and the demonstrators are trying to scale the barricade. You can see over hundreds of these protesters have moved from Jantar Mantar and are now trying to move towards Parliament. Continuously from early in the morning, the police have been telling them that any violation of 163 BNS would mean that they would be detained. Attempts are being made to tell them that this is illegal. Large number of these protesters from early in the morning moved from Jantar Mantar towards Parliament. These protesters, numbering into hundreds, have done so. The police have said that this would be violation of law. The police have been making the announcement from this van, and the Rapid Action Force have also gathered in large number. The police have said that the protest was limited to Jantar Mantar. More importantly, this protest also, these protests and protesters have been told that probatory orders are in place from 24th of July. So this protest also has an expiry date till 24th of July. With Sujit Bhavtosh Singh for Times Now. We are outside Parliament Street Police Station. If we cut into the visual, you can see Delhi police personnel are carrying out a baton charge. This baton charge has been going on for past 2 to 3 minutes. The police, in fact, had made several announcements. Also, announcements were made by CJP leadership asking the protesters not to move towards Patel Chowk. Also telling them that they would be speaking to the government, asking them and convincing them. फिर से करना. You can see that police have carried out a massive baton charge or lathi charge at the protesters when they were trying to move towards Patel Chowk, and the police as well as CJP leadership had told the protesters that they should not go towards Patel Chowk because prohibitory orders are in place. The protesters broke through the first barricade and then they were moving towards the second barricade when this baton charge happened. The police had told them that protest is limited to Jantar Mantar and the protest should not move towards the second barricade. The protesters broke through the first barricade, and when they were going towards the second barricade, then the lathi charge happened. Many of these protesters are injured, and the protesters have also been taken into detention. The police have said that 163 BNS is in place. These protesters, in fact, also entered into some of these buildings, and the police have said that these individuals who have broken the BNS 163 will also be detained. These vehicles which have also been parked here, they have also been damaged. The police have said that an official statement will be issued after things are under control. With Vijay, Sujit Bhavtosh Singh for Times Now. After continuously trying to tell the protesters that any movement towards Parliament would be deemed illegal and they will be taken into custody, the Delhi police are now trying to push the protesters towards Jantar Mantar, where they have been protesting for past 21 days. The protesters have, in fact, told others that they will be protesting and harrowing the Parliament on the first day. As you can see from the visuals, that they have said that they will be moving towards Parliament on the first day of monsoon session, and they have come in large numbers. It started early in the morning when the protesters had gathered at Jantar Mantar, and then the protests, in fact, started. There are some protesters who are throwing slippers. Protesters are trying to climb on the barricades and scale the barricades. The police have also trying to tell them that the protest will be deemed illegal, and they are telling them that they will be taken under detention. You can see these protesters have gathered here. The police is trying to control them. Paramilitary forces have also gathered here. We will see what will happen next, but it appears that many of these protesters will be taken under detention. The police have been telling them that this would be a violation of 163 of BNS. With Sujit Bhavtosh Singh for Times Now.
Well, let me go across to Priyank Tripathi. He's right there at Raisina Road, where the protesters have been blocked right now. What's the situation like, under control, hopefully, Priyank?
The situation is under control, but there's a very thin layer of barricade which is there in between a handful of Delhi police personnel and those thousands of protesters who are on this V shape of the road which connects Raisina Road to the Jantar Mantar Road. On my left-hand side is the Jantar Mantar Road, where the Dipke had the bus again come back, and he is there on the bus from where they have been doing the announcement. And on the other side is around 2,000 to 3,000 supporters of Abhijit Dipke, who have come in solidarity with Sonal Wangchu, who have been standing here. They have been chanting slogan, and they have been chanting Bharat Mata Ki Jai. But the Delhi police is certainly not in the mood to have any kind of further confrontation. Time and again, whenever these protesters have attempted to move forward, tear shells have been lobbed, but since half an hour or so, we haven't seen that tear shell has been used by the Delhi police to stop these protesters so far. The situation is very volatile, I would say, because any kind of untoward movement from the protester side can lead to a major confrontation. And since this crowd is leaderless, so they are also not aware that what should be the further course of action. Few of them attempted to move towards the parliament, but they were stopped and pushed back by the Delhi police team. Since half an hour or so, they have been standing here, chanting slogans, against the police and against the government. But their forward movement has been stopped. If someone instigates from inside, then certainly situation can go out of the hand. But the Delhi police is saying that we have very few men on the ground on this particular stretch of the road because the protesters are spread all across the New Delhi zone. But the moment they could be an attempt to move towards the parliament, then that could be stopped then and there.
So no one's going to be allowed to move towards the parliament. So far, Priyank is getting us minute-by-minute ground report. He tells us the situation's under control. The police have managed to contain the protesters and things are in hand. Meanwhile, as we were telling you earlier in the day, there was a lot of high drama. The protests which turned rather tense confrontation that we saw between protesters and the police. There were also reports coming in that some of the police personnel have been injured during these clashes. In fact, police have fired tear gas shells to disperse the crowds, while protesters have been pushed back as security forces tried to regain control of the situation. This is a report coming in from earlier in the day.
The Cockroach Jantar Party supporters had managed to reach towards this particular last barricade, and right you can see behind it is the parliament, and we have seen that multiple tear shells have been lobbed. You can see the visuals from the parliament, and we are the only channel reporting from this location where the tear shells are being lobbed on the CJP protesters. This is the RAF vehicle which is now deployed, and the lathi charge also is being done. The tear shells are being lobbed towards the other side because there have been thousands of supporters of the CJP who managed to come here, and this was the last barricade where they should not have come. The situation was that the number of protesters who were there at the Jantar Mantar exceeded from the maximum number level, and the number of protesters was very much. That's why these protesters had to move towards this particular location. The call was for early in the morning. The call timing certainly exceeded, and there you can see another police action on all those CJP supporters. Abhishek, you would come here because this is the most important location.
देखिए यहाँ जो है ना हम लोग हक के लिए लड़ रहे हैं, फिर भी वो हम लोग के ऊपर लाठी चार्ज कर रहा है.
There you heard the students have been saying that we have been fighting for our right, but still lathi charge was being done on us.
So as the Sansad Chalo march of the CJP gathered momentum earlier in the day, we saw security being tightened across the complex of Parliament. In fact, CISF got the gates of Parliament shut as well. Some of the gates have been stuck. But you can see on your screens high drama as it unfolded earlier in the day. Even as we speak, remember, the situation has been brought under control, and Times Now would like to send out an appeal that if you are protesting, protest peacefully within the ambit of the law. No one should take law into their own hands. Peaceful protest is the only democratic way of protesting. Because earlier in the day, we saw how there were incidents of violence which were coming in. There were people who were trying to breach the barricades as well. Tear gas shells had to be lobbed, as you can see on the extreme right-hand side of your screens. The police had to fire tear gas shells to bring the protest under control. And then there were cops who were unfortunately injured. You can see some of the injured police personnel as they tried to contain the protests. There were protesters who were detained as well and were whisked away to the Sansad Marg police station. But even as we speak, we'd like to point it out that quick action has been taken by the security forces. There was quick response teams which were there on the ground. Fire brigade personnel were there on the ground. They remained on duty nearby as well. There were security personnel who physically secured the Parliament gates as well. Fire tenders, emergency response vehicles strategically were positioned inside the complex to prevent any kind of breach by the marching protesters. There's no such breach which has happened. And even as we speak, the protest has been taken care of in the sense that things are under control now. The protests have been contained in the area which is not at the Parliament, which is at the Raisina road. Times Now gets you more of these ground reports. This is from earlier in the day.
The security has been beefed up at the main entrance of the Parliament. You can see that the QRT over here, they have taken the position, given the fact that how exactly this particular gate is also closed. Now we know for a fact that students in hundreds and thousands of number have marched towards the central Delhi. As we speak, we can hear the tear gas shells being fired on the students. The students are being lathi charged, and you can see that how exactly the CISF over here, the Delhi police and the agencies, they have clearly cordoned off this particular area. The main gate is being closed. Now it's expected that the student might come over toward this side, and I'll ask to show these visuals that how the CISF officials are ready on the gate, and this is not a mock drill given the fact while I'm speaking from here, I can hear gunshots, I can hear tear gas shells being fired, some massive protest, and you can see the fire brigade is also ready at the gate of Parliament. So